Commander Zixtal of the Galactic Survey Corps had seen 17 different Deathworlds in her career. She had witnessed the acid storms of Korath Prime, survived the predatory forests of Vex 9, and even escaped the crystalline mazes of Theta Centauri, where thoughts became reality and drove explorers insane. She considered herself an expert on planetary hazards. She was wrong. The blue-green planet designated as Sol 3 hung before their survey ship like a deceptively beautiful jewel. Initial scans had been promising abundant water, oxygen-rich atmosphere, diverse biomes. The preliminary report had classified it as a potential Class M colony world with minor hazards. Standard protocol for a routine survey mission. Commander called out Navigation Officer Kef from his station, his four eyes blinking in sequence as he reviewed the atmospheric readings. The planet appears to be teeming with life. Biodiversity indices are off the charts. Excellent, Zixtal replied, her tentacles curling with satisfaction. A garden world. The Council will be pleased. Prepare the landing party. The first sign that something was amiss came during atmospheric entry. Their shields, designed to withstand the electromagnetic storms of gas giants, began fluctuating wildly. Commander, shouted Engineer Vorthak, his scales rippling with distress. The planet's magnetic field, it's impossibly strong. And the atmospheric, electrical activity, it's like the entire sky's weaponized. Lightning bolts, each containing enough energy to power a small space station, danced across the clouds below them. Zixtal had never seen such violent atmospheric phenomena on a habitable world. Maintain course, she ordered, though her confidence was beginning to waver. It's just weather. They landed in what appeared to be a peaceful grassland. The moment the airlock opened, Science Officer Dr. Nelthara collapsed, her breathing apparatus working overtime. The oxygen concentration, she gasped. It's 21%. This is insane. How did the native organisms not die from oxygen toxicity? Zixtal checked her own readings. On every civilized world in the galaxy, oxygen levels rarely exceeded 8%. Higher concentrations were considered lethal, a fact apparently unknown to Sol 3's biosphere. Look at this, Dr. Nelthara continued, scanning the grass beneath their feet. These plants, they're producing this toxic oxygen as a waste product. They're literally poisoning their own atmosphere. The survey team pressed on, but every step revealed new horrors. The very water that covered most of the planet's surface was a universal solvent so aggressive it would corrode most known materials. Worse, the native life forms actually required this deadly substance to survive. Commander, reported Security Chief Mordax, his cybernetic implants sparking as he analyzed local fauna, undetecting massive apex predators. Some of these creatures weigh over 6,000 kilograms and possess bone-crushing bite forces exceeding 20,000 newtons. Surely they're rare? Zixtal asked hopefully. No, ma'am. They're everywhere. And that's not the worst part. Mordax's voice carried a tremor of fear. The smaller creatures are worse. There are microscopic organisms that can survive in pure acid, others that thrive in temperatures that would melt copper, and some that can remain dormant for millennia before springing back to life. As if summoned by his words, a swarm of tiny flying creatures descended upon them. Each insect, no larger than Zixtal's smallest tentacle, drove needle-like appendages through their protective suits. They're injecting us with foreign proteins. Dr. Nelthara screamed, watching her skin swell and change color. How are we supposed to defend against biological warfare from creatures that aren't even sentient? The team retreated to higher ground, only to discover that the planet's geology was equally hostile. Tectonic plates shifted constantly, causing massive earthquakes. Volcanic vents spewed superheated gases that could melt their equipment. Even the weather patterns seemed designed for maximum destruction, spinning cyclones, with wind speeds exceeding 200 kilometers per hour, regularly devastated entire continents. How? Zixtal whispered, staring at her scanner readings. How does anything survive here? Her answer came in the form of the planet's dominant species. Bipedal creatures emerged from a nearby settlement, wearing nothing but thin fabric coverings. They moved across terrain that would challenge a fully armored survey team, seemingly oblivious to the deadly environment surrounding them. Commander Dr. Nelthara's voice was barely a whisper. I've analyzed their biology. They're adapted to everything. Their blood uses iron to carry that toxic oxygen. Their skin secretes chemical compounds to regulate temperature in this hellish atmosphere. They consume organic matter that would be toxic to every other known species. One of the natives approached them, making sounds with its breathing apparatus, apparently a form of communication. When the universal translator processed the meaning, Zixtal's world changed forever. "Welcome to Earth," the creature said. "Beautiful day, isn't it? Beautiful." It called this apocalyptic nightmare beautiful. Commander Mordax reported, his voice hollow with disbelief. "I'm detecting nuclear weapons. Thousands of them. These creatures have weaponized stellar fire and pointed it at themselves. They've turned their own planet into a potential nova." As the survey team scrambled back to their ship, Zixtal realized the terrible truth. Every other Deathworld in the galaxy was merely dangerous. Sol 3 Earth was something else entirely. It was where evolution had gone completely insane, creating life forms so resilient and adaptable that they thrived in conditions that would exterminate entire civilizations. The native creatures, humans, they called themselves, didn't just survive on this Deathworld. They mastered it. They climbed mountains that pierced the deadly atmosphere. They sailed across oceans of universal solvent. They explored regions where the very ground could swallow them whole or explode without warning. And they called it home. "Set course for the nearest starbase," Zixtal ordered as their ship fled Sol 3's gravitational pull. "Priority Alpha transmission to the Galactic Council. Classification: Absolute Quarantine Zone." "What should I put in the report, Commander?" asked Kef. Zixtal looked back at the blue marble receding behind them, where billions of apex predators lived and thrived in harmony with a planet that could kill gods. "Mark it as uninhabitable," she said quietly, "and pray they never learn how to leave."